The roar of the crowd, the electric anticipation, the unifying power of the beautiful game, the FIFA World Cup. It's more than just a tournament. It's a global phenomenon, a tapestry woven from dreams, rivalries, and national pride. But as the clock ticks down to 2026, a shadow has fallen across the North American stage. A shadow cast not by sporting rivals, but by political wins. Remember the euphoria of 2018? The United States, Canada, and Mexico united in a triumphant bid to host the world's biggest sporting spectacle, the first time three nations would share the honor, a symbol of cooperation and shared passion. Donald Trump, then president, even signed a formal commitment, a promise to FIFA that players, fans, and officials from every corner of the globe would be welcomed with respect and fairness. It felt like a new era, a testament to America's enduring role as a global leader, a handshake across borders, a promise of unity. Fast forward to today, and that vision seems fractured. The unity strained, the promise questioned, the air thick with uncertainty. What happened? How did we get here? The answer, as it often does, lies in the turbulent intersection of politics and sports. A collision course set by the very man who once pledged his support. In September 2025, the football world held its breath. A press conference in Washington, D.C., seemingly innocuous at first, quickly became a flashpoint. Donald Trump, back in the spotlight, delivered a seemingly off-the-cuff remark that sent shockwaves across continents. "If I see a place that isn't safe," he declared, his familiar confidence bordering on defiance, "we'll move the match somewhere else." The words hung in the air, pregnant with implications. It was more than just a statement, it was a gauntlet thrown down, a challenge to FIFA's authority, and a stark reminder of the political undercurrents swirling beneath the surface of the 2026 World Cup. On the surface, it sounded like decisive leadership, a commitment to safety. But beneath the veneer of concern lurked something more, a power play, a subtle yet unmistakable attempt to exert control over an event that transcends national boundaries. The World Cup isn't a political pawn, it's not a tool to be wielded for domestic gain, it's an institution that belongs to the world, a celebration of human spirit and athletic prowess. And in that moment, the fragile balance between political influence and global unity teetered precariously. Billions of dollars are at stake. Stadiums are being built, infrastructure is being upgraded, and local economies are bracing for an influx of tourism. For countless small businesses, the World Cup represents a lifeline, a chance to thrive, and for players and fans, it's a shared dream, a moment of collective joy that transcends borders and ideologies. Trump's words weren't just words, they were a threat to this entire ecosystem. FIFA, the governing body of world football, understood the gravity of the situation immediately. Behind closed doors, a storm was brewing. The stakes were too high, the principles too important to ignore. Enter Victor Montagliani, FIFA's vice president, a man known for his measured demeanor and unwavering commitment to the sport. He stepped forward not with bluster or anger, but with a calm resolve that resonated far beyond the boardroom. "Football is bigger than any country," he stated, his voice steady and firm. "Bigger than any government, bigger than any slogan." It was a shot across the bow, a clear message to Trump and any other political leader who might try to meddle in the affairs of the beautiful game. The World Cup, Montagliani emphasized, belongs to the people, not to politicians. The message reverberated. It was a reminder that FIFA, despite its own controversies, fiercely guards its independence. Trump, in his attempt to flex American muscle, had poked a sleeping giant. Years of planning, billions of dollars in investment, countless hours of negotiation. 16 cities across North America had been meticulously chosen, each a vital cog in the World Cup machine. Stadiums were rising from the ground, transportation networks were being revamped, and security protocols were being fine-tuned. Insurance contracts were signed, broadcast rights were secured, and government-level guarantees were in place. To even suggest moving a match was to threaten to unravel a decade's worth of intricate work. Experts knew it was practically impossible, the logistics were a nightmare, but the damage was done. Headlines screamed, "Is America ready?" Doubts crept into the global conversation. The perception of the United States as a reliable host, a safe haven for the world's game, began to erode. Behind the scenes, FIFA officials scrambled. Contingency plans were dusted off, whispered conversations replaced public pronouncements, unease was palpable. And then came the names. Chicago, Los Angeles, Philadelphia. Trump singled them out, branding them as unsafe, implying their inability to guarantee the security of fans and players. These were cities that had poured resources into preparations, cities that stood to gain billions in revenue, cities that had dreamed of showcasing their vibrant cultures to the world. His words were a gut punch, not just to their reputations, but to the very spirit of the tournament. Presidents come and go, Montagliani retorted when pressed by reporters, a subtle barb delivered with surgical precision. But the World Cup goes on. It was a statement that echoed in boardrooms, newsrooms, and construction sites, a declaration that football would endure, with or without America's unwavering support. While the United States grappled with internal strife, its neighbors to the north and south stood in stark contrast. Canada and Mexico, co-hosts of the 2026 World Cup, exuded an air of quiet confidence. Their preparations were smooth, their logistics were streamlined, and their political climates were relatively stable. Sponsors, wary of the uncertainty in the U.S., began to shift their investments towards Canadian and Mexican venues. The symbolism was deafening. What was meant to be a unified North American celebration was slowly morphing into a referendum on America's global standing. The visa process, a bureaucratic labyrinth even in the best of times, became a major point of contention. While countries like Russia and Qatar had streamlined entry requirements for fans, the United States remained mired in red tape. Lengthy interviews, mountains of financial documentation, and months-long waiting periods became the norm. In Russia, all you need is a ticket and a passport, one journalist quipped. In the US, you need time, money, and a miracle. The world was watching. The dream of a seamless, joyous World Cup in North America was starting to fade, replaced by a nagging fear that politics and bureaucracy would overshadow the beautiful game. Then came the street takeovers, a new kind of urban unrest, fueled by social media and a craving for viral fame. Cars became weapons, stunts turned dangerous, and late-night gatherings devolved into chaos. While these weren't political protests in the traditional sense, Trump seized on them, painting a picture of American cities spiraling out of control. Boston, with its planned World Cup matches at Gillette Stadium, became a prime target. Parts of the city have been taken over by unrest, he declared, standing alongside Argentina's president, Javier Milei. The implication was clear. Boston was too dangerous, too chaotic to host the world's game. He didn't stop there. Michelle Wu, Boston's mayor, was branded a radical left failure, her leadership blamed for the city's woes. It was a calculated move, a way to tie the unrest to a broader narrative of urban decay and political incompetence. If someone is doing a bad job and there are unsafe conditions, he continued, I would call Gianni Infantino, the head of FIFA, and say, let's move it to another location. The thread hung in the air, a stark reminder of Trump's influence and his willingness to use it. His close relationship with Infantino, cultivated over years, became a subject of intense scrutiny. Was FIFA truly independent, or was it susceptible to political pressure from the most powerful man in America? Los Angeles, slated to host the 2028 Olympic Games, was next in the crosshairs. Trump suggested it too could lose its events if he deemed it unsafe. The sports world gasped. The precedent was terrifying. Seattle and San Francisco, also on the World Cup host list, were dismissed as being run by radical left lunatics, incapable of ensuring public safety. 6 games were scheduled for Seattle's Lumen Field, another 6 for Levi's Stadium near San Francisco, billions of dollars, countless dreams, all hanging in the balance. FIFA, caught in the middle, tried to project an image of calm. Any serious safety concerns they acknowledged would inevitably involve consultation with U.S. authorities. But the underlying question lingered. Could Trump pressure Infantino into relocating matches, even without legitimate safety issues? Montaliani once again stepped up to the plate. Speaking at a conference in London, he emphasized that football operates independently of political regimes and will outlast them. It was a direct rebuke to Trump, a reaffirmation of FIFA's autonomy. Despite the growing tension, FIFA insisted it had confidence in all 16 host cities. Internal reports suggested no logistical or safety issues that would justify relocation. The tournament, they maintained, was on track, but the political atmosphere in the U.S. remained volatile. Uncertainty lingered. The dream of a unified, joyous World Cup in North America felt increasingly fragile. Meanwhile, the International Olympic Committee, stung by Trump's comments about Los Angeles, issued a rare joint statement. They reaffirmed full confidence in the city as the host, emphasizing the unified support of the U.S. president, California's governor, and the city's mayor. The situation reflected a broader challenge facing international sports in the modern age: the growing intersection of politics, media, and global events. Hosting the World Cup had always been about more than the game itself. It was a reflection of national image, leadership, and stability. When political rhetoric began to shape those perceptions, the consequences reached far beyond the field. The beautiful game was caught in the crossfire.